Hey everybody, no, I'm not naked. I do have a top on underneath this, believe it or not. I have just been exercising. I promised myself one thing that I wanted to do was keep it real, was to keep the channel raw and real, not just to do videos where I've got makeup on and I look good and life is great and yeah, because that's actually not what I'm experiencing right now. And when you live with complex trauma, and what I mean by that is when you have had shit things happen in your life, rape, child abuse, neglect, abandonment, the list goes on. It doesn't matter whether it's one thing that's happened to you or whether it's multiple layers of trauma, you are going to live with the consequence of those things happening to you throughout your life. You will go through times in your life where things are great, you're doing well, and you are learning to live trauma-free. You've had therapy, you've tried some different things, you've come to terms with what's happened, you've forgiven people. The list is endless, right? The list is bloody endless. During your life, that trauma, while it's going to be resolved as different degrees throughout your life, is going to show up again at some point in your life. I consider myself to be well-adjusted, well-healed. I've done a lot of things to help myself on my trauma recovery and healing journey. And I find myself at the moment in a bit of a deep well of emotional distress. I think that's a good way to describe it, is overwhelming feelings of heaviness, feeling low, I'm not good enough. I'm absolutely being bombarded by all of these thoughts because I decided to come off my antidepressants, which I have been on for 22 years. So I think we can say I'm well and truly an addict to antidepressants. And I've tried to come off them at different stages in my life with very little success, I have to say. And I think that's mainly because I came off them too quickly. And something similar has happened again. You'd think I'd have learned from the last 2 or 3 times, I can't remember. It's definitely 2 or 3 times that I decided to come off antidepressants. Yeah, so everything was going well. I felt ready to come off, stable, healthy, the best I feel that I've ever felt. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do it slowly this time. Slowly, because that's what they recommend. If you're thinking of coming off your antidepressants, I highly recommend that you consult with your doctor, consult with the people you need to consult with, tell your partner, tell your friends, tell everybody who is in your inner circle and your professional mental health circle. It's really important that you're honest and you're transparent and you don't keep this to yourself, because it is a very tricky time to manage. And that's what I'm going to talk about now, the trickiness of the experience. As I said, I want to keep this raw. I don't want to dress everything up because it's just not helpful. And it's not relatable. Well, you might look at me and think, oh my God, she's a sweaty mess. Has she got any clothes on? But I've just done an exercise. I'll explain why in a minute. Bear with me. Yeah, so about 8 months ago, I started tapering down my antidepressants. Literally, like an addict, shaving a little bit off 1 week, shaving a little bit off another week, shaving another bit off. So I've been doing this for a period of 8 months. That's a long time to come off a prescribed medication, in my mind. After 22 years, I'm not a doctor, so you would need to consult someone who knows what they're talking about. But it seems an awful long time in my mind, because I deal with, because of trauma, things move very quickly for me. Things don't stay still. They're forever moving very quickly. I see time very differently to most people. So I've been tapering, taking them down. I've had absolutely no side effects whatsoever. None. Been really pleased. And then it's come to the last little bit, and I've stopped taking the last little bit, and I have found myself relapsing into the old familiar. Let's describe it as the old familiar, how I used to be, how it's like my default trauma setting. I go into what I call the traumatized mind. I've written a book about this. I've gone into a traumatized state. I've started to close down. I've started to look myself in my head, and I've been consumed with feelings of I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, no one likes me. All of this emotional state, which I guess is the residue of the trauma it is that I experienced growing up as a child and a young woman as an adult, all of those feelings of internalizing the hate, the distrust, the abuse, the thoughts, the feelings, the emotions that are associated with that. And they've just hit me all at once. It's heavy. I'm trying to explain it. It's like you're stuck in a well and you're going deeper and deeper and deeper into this well. And you can actually feel yourself psychologically, mentally going into this well because the body starts to feel heavy, really, really heavy. You don't see anything positive. Everything starts to be held in your head or your thoughts. The world starts to close in. Everything seems very dark. And it's a real struggle to think about something positive. Now, if I hadn't done all of this work over the years to help me deal and manage the trauma it is that I've experienced, I'm very sweaty now. It is that I have experienced, I wouldn't know what was going on. I would think that this is my natural state, that this is just who I am. And actually, that couldn't be further from the truth. That isn't who I am. That is a consequence of the trauma I've experienced growing up and the stamp, the mark it puts on you when you have experienced such devastating events happen in your life. You are left with this residue, this emotional state of pain, of cruelty, of emotional hardship, of aloneness, of paralyzation. You almost feel like you're being paralyzed by by what's going on in your head. It's all consuming. Now, I know that isn't who I really am. I know that isn't the true essence of who I am. I'm just in a situation that has been triggered by my desire to stop taking antidepressants. And when you've been on antidepressants for a long time, you're going to want to, at some point, go, okay, after 22 years, you're going to go, I just don't want to do this anymore. Because what was happening is I was starting to feel that I was numb. Not numb now. I'm not numb now, but the problem is now is that I've got all the yuckiness that I've got to deal with. I've got to change my state. I've got to take responsibility for how it is that I'm feeling. But here's the thing. This is the body doing what it's designed to do. As cruel as it is designed to keep you safe, keep you out of harm's way, even if that means emotionally torturing you, which is what's happening to me in this process of withdrawal. It's funny. I've been saying to my partner, maybe I should just quit. Maybe I should just go back on them. Because it's been that emotionally painful. It's been that terrifying that the thought of, what's next? What's coming next? How am I going to feel tomorrow? Has become so overwhelming that that's the addiction, is that I want to go back on them because I feel that it would stop me from feeling how I'm feeling. However, we decided, because I know if I go back on the medication, it's going to take a couple of weeks for me to start to feel normal again. But it's absolutely not what I want to do. So we decided between us that I would look at changing my state, because I know exactly what's going on. I would need to do things that would help my body and my mind to recover, rather than falling into the trap of nothingness, of not doing anything, of being all consumed by the experience it is that I'm having, is to monitor it day by day. But I have to do things now to help myself. So I write about, funny enough, I've been here before, yeah? Like most of us, been here before. I wrote it in my book, Be More Wolf, a survivor's story, breaking the trauma cycle. And I talk about the traumatized mind, which is full on what I'm experiencing right now. So my job, my good friend of mine, Dr. David Purvis, taught me this. If you just think of a brain, and when trauma is healthy, it's like the size of a pea in the brain. It's like the size of a pea. When it's unhealthy, out of control, it's ruining your life, it's taken over, it consumes the whole of the brain. So yesterday, the day before, I've been completely consumed. That trauma has completely taken over how I think, feel, what I do, what I think about myself, what I think about other people. It's not necessarily true. It's just an illusion. Trauma creates an illusion to keep you safe. So basically, eventually what would happen is that will lead to extreme anxiety, depression. I won't want to go out. I will exclude myself from people. I'm on full in trauma, a trauma response. It's completely consumed me, completely taken over. So what I've got to do is take responsibility for it, because I know this is true, and you may not know this is true, but it is true. According to the law of Wendy Keir, it's very true, is that this isn't who we are. What we need to do is move, decreasing the trauma that's consumed the brain and bringing it back down each day, so it gets smaller, so it's the shape of a healthy pea. It's not going to completely disappear, of course not, because otherwise this wouldn't be happening to me now, but it will shrink and it becomes manageable, and it is part of who you are. And trauma is a very natural response. There's nothing wrong with you. This is what trauma does to the mind and the body. So I talk about this in the book. I talk about the traumatized mind and how it becomes out of control and how you can shrink it down. So as I said, I've been here before. And in some respect, it's a great thing. I've been here before because I know I can get out of it. I know what to do to get out of it. It just takes a bit of time and a bit of work, a bit of hard work, conscious work. But the other cruel thing about it is that we naturally default to all of those horrible feelings. We default to what was once very familiar when this trauma response kicks in. So I also talk about in the book about 2 paths you can take. And I was journaling on this the other day. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but there are 2 paths. Just imagine 2 paths you can take. One goes right, one goes right, sorry, I'm dyslexic. One goes right, one goes left. And the one on the left is familiar. The one on the left, let's just say the one on the left is the traumatized mind. So what will happen is you'll start to have these thoughts, you'll start to be feeling these sensations. And what happens is each time you think one thing, that leads to another, and then that leads to another, that leads to another, that leads to another. And this path will only take you in one direction, which is distress, mental illness, emotional ill health. For me, as I said, it's anxiety, it's depression, it's withdrawal. It's an awful place to be. So one thought creates another thought, creates another feeling, a behavior, and this is a very tricky and painful road to be on. So what we need to do is move across to the road on the right, which is a path that you choose to create for yourself in the here and now. So when I was journaling, sorry, I just want to look at my notes to see if I can give you some examples, but I've got a funny feeling that I didn't write it in my journal. I actually wrote it straight into a Word document. So let me just go back to the road that's got the potholes and the bombs, and it only leads in one direction. So I'll be thinking, I'm not good enough. No one likes me. I feel isolated. My head hurts. I feel dizzy. I don't want to go out. I've got no energy. Oh, I feel really heavy. This is all of the things that they basically trigger until I'm all consumed. So on the other path, the conscious path, the one that's on the right-hand side, is going to take you in a completely different direction. So I called this new path that I've created the energy of success. Yes, the road to success, the energy of success, not even the road to success, but the energy of success. So more about a feeling, more about a doing, not about setting goals. This isn't about setting goals. This is about creating a road to success that I can slowly move into, to move away from that other road that is going to make me ill, keep me addicted, make me ill. I'm only going to spiral down, and it's going to be very, very hard for me to climb out. Actually, you can't climb out. What you have to do is go sideways like a crab, because if you try and climb back out, after all of that, all that happens is you hit a load of resistance and emotional resistance, and it's too hard. It's really hard. What you have to do is take baby steps and move sideways out of it, not try and climb back out of it or go down. You want to do things that are going to take you sideways. So stepping into the success mind. So you're going to think I'm a kid, but hey ho, it works for me, so I don't care. If it works for you, brilliant. That's all I could wish for right now. So I got my little title, and then I've got my road, and then on this new path, this new road, I've got, of course, exercise, walking. You want to pick things that are going to be easy for you to do. I don't care if it means walking around the block of where you live, if it means walking up to the top of the road, but the act of doing, walking to the shop, walking a bit further than you would normally walk. Because when you are consumed to this degree, you will have withdrawn, I think, too. Well, I've definitely withdrawn, and I definitely haven't wanted to do things because I'm all consumed. So exercising, walking, eating healthily, these are all the things that people tell you to do. Meditations. Now, when it comes to meditations, I would look at doing things like a body scan. So you're not just in your head, but you are connecting with the rest of your body as well. So exercise, I've just done a 30-minute workout for the over 50s from YouTube. So there's no excuses. You can't say, oh, I can't afford to go to the gym, or I can't be bothered to go to the gym. I've just done a 30-minute exercise. This is why I'm all sweaty, and I just wanted to come on raw now. I've just done a 30-minute exercise, and I'll put the link below because she's absolutely awesome, for women over 50. So, if I can do it, so can you. And I don't want to do it, but I know if I do it, that today, this exercise that I've done is preparation for tomorrow. And actually, I do already feel a little bit better, I've got to say. I'm feeling better because I'm talking to you. And I'm really hoping that you can hear what it is that I'm saying about the difficult situation that you find yourself in, and actually the difficult situation I'm finding in myself right now. I'm getting comfort from talking to you. I'm hoping that what I'm sharing is going to help you, because it's absolutely helping me. Celebrating success. So just note what you have done successfully. Made a cup of tea, managed to have a conversation with somebody, managed to read a page of a book, cuddled your pet. I don't care how big it is or how small it is. What's significant here is that you acknowledge one thing, two things, three things, and build on for that. So you're stepping into a place of gratitude rather than feeling the heaviness of the emotion it is that you are stuck in. This is an interesting one, and this is something that I am working on. How do I make friends with my ego, the naughty child? How do I help my ego to learn and not consume and not take over and play havoc, which is what it's doing? You know, what is the ego? So, going from a place of being consumed, breaking the cycle of addiction, breaking the cycle of antidepressants, while having a history of complex trauma. And that complex trauma has many different layers. It has many different layers for all of us. But knowing what I know, how can I take responsibility for helping my body to change, to shift, for it to get that energetic spark back? And how can I help my mind? How can I free up the thoughts of my mind? So remember, you've got this road that's only going to take you one direction, which is illness. It's familiar to you. That's where you're going to go. It's comfortable. It's what you know. It's what the body is going to be pulled to keep you safe, regardless of how freaking cruel it is. That's what it's going to do. So what can you do to help yourself to go in a new direction, day by day, step by step? Interestingly enough, once you're able to get back onto this other road, things do escalate quickly. They escalate as quickly to take you in the direction you want to go in as they do when you're going down. It's just a case of, where are you going to put your energy? Where are you going to put your time? How are you going to take personal responsibility and say, okay, I'm going to do something about this. I'm not going to get dragged down in it. I understand that this is a natural response to what it is that I'm experiencing. This is how my brain and my body communicate and talk to one another. But on a conscious level, on the here and now, in terms of the decisions you're making, you have a choice which road you're going to take. You absolutely have a choice, without a shadow of a doubt, which road you are going to take. The trick is waking up and realizing that you have a choice, that you can take your life and how you're feeling emotionally in a new and a different direction. Yes, so I am now going to go out for a massage. I should put that on my step to success, actually, because Thai massage, I'm lucky. I live in Thailand, so massage is a price of a McDonald's. Not that I eat McDonald's. So it's very cheap, so I can do that. But you can massage yourself. Okay, that sounds a bit flippant, but you can massage yourself. You can have a nice shower, have a bath. We don't have the privilege of baths here. We have showers. You can do something nice for yourself to move yourself in and across to creating a success mindset. Yeah, it's been tough. It's tough. It's still tough, and I suspect it will be tough for some time. But my job now is consciously to create who it is and step back into who I was before I got consumed by this level of trauma response. Consumed by these emotions and what's what's taking over, because that's just old stuff. It isn't who I am or who I want to be. My job as a conscious Wendy is to think about, right, who am I going to be? What do I want to be? And to reevaluate who I am. How am I showing up in the world? Who are the people that I want to connect with? Who are the people I'm not going to tolerate? What's happening at work? Everything. It's a really great opportunity to reevaluate and see if I'm heading in the direction that I want to head in. I guess you could say, as I'm talking to you, that this is a bit of a wake-up call. It's a bit of a wake-up call to say you need to stop and you need to reassess and you need to relook at the direction and what it is that you want to do and where you're heading. It gives you the opportunity to reshape, let go of old beliefs, let go of the trauma, and heal. This is about healing on a completely different level again. On a completely different level. So I have an opportunity now to rebirth and recreate myself. So whatever you're feeling, just know that this is the way the body and the mind deals with the aftermath of trauma, the emotional response. It's perfectly natural. Our job is to allow ourselves to recover and heal, but that's a very conscious piece of work. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if this was helpful. If you are finding yourself in emotional distress to this degree, please reach out to your friends, your family. Reach out to people who are going to treat you with love and compassion, who are not going to judge you, that are genuinely there for you. Don't put yourself in front of people who are going to be critical and don't necessarily understand what you're talking about. Actually, people don't need to understand what you're talking about. They just need to be there, supportive, compassionate, there for you. Please do reach out to medical professionals, whoever that is. And, you know, there have been times where I've been in such emotional distress where I've just gone to the hospital. I've gone to the hospital and I've sat in the, can't remember what you call it, in A&E or whatever it is. And I've sat there and I've just been waiting to see the doctor, talk to the doctor about how I'm feeling, be able to express how I'm feeling, for them to give me some advice, and then to go home, because they obviously know what the best thing to do is when somebody reaches that level of distress. So ring the Samaritans, reach out to people. There is no need to deal with this alone. The brain's clever. It's going to want to make you deal with it by yourself in the most inappropriate ways you could ever think possible. So just know that the brain's naughty. It's a naughty kid. It's the ego. It will completely smother you. But as you're listening to me, you know what level of support and what level of help and what level of input you need. So just make sure you get that and put your health and emotional health first. And don't listen to the crap that's going on in your head, because that's just ultimately not real and is an illusion that's created from things that have happened to you in the past. So now I'm going for a Thai massage, which is incredibly painful. And I'm always have them, and I'm always like, oh, I can hang on, I can do it. But when I come out, I feel amazing. Yeah, so I hope that's helped, and I will see you on the next live.